CNBC-TV18 presents the AI Dialogues in association with IBM.
Now let's come to the challenges. You already began by talking about privacy. So do you think that will be one of the biggest challenges?
No, there are multiple challenges.
Privacy.
When we use public data, there could be copyright issues. Tomorrow, there could be which can be legal. It can be privacy issue. What kind of customer data can go to a public this one and then come back. And there are you talked about very well talked about explainability kind of stuff. There is a repeatability point which comes in explainability, repeatability. All these questions, the challenges are there in the model, and that need to be addressed. I'm saying that these are very early days for us to this one, but almost all banks are aware of the challenges, and we are working. Most of our use cases are designed to remove this one. But as we get along in the next 1 year or so, when all of us are using the GenAI to some extent, then maybe the entire governance structure and the entire risk mitigation will work on, and we will come out of that particular thing.
You know, the DP bill, that itself requires that you need the customer's consent before using the data. How do you think, will that be a very big challenge? Because I think the government has not yet released.
Yeah, but see, on consent,
the rules.
It is definitely a very significant shift, especially from an India context. But it's not that it's not been done. I also want to kind of bring to your attention that look at GDPR has been there. It got implemented 5-6 years back in Europe. Privacy and consent were very central to that.
Yes.
And when it came, everybody was worried. I used to work for an organization, it has to be GDPR compliant. I remember going through this whole pangs of whether we'll be able to do it, but it settled down. Okay, so I think in an Indian context, I think what will happen. I think in fact, in some ways, it's very good because you look at the kind of amount of spam calls, fraud calls, all of that. I am hoping that will take care. Second, of course, the fact that privacy has to come at the center. See, at the end of the day, we are all going to be much more digitally enabled as we continue to kind of, evolve. And again, the fact that what is personal, what is public, that distinction has to be very clearly made, and that's an individual choice. So I think consent will be there. But I also think that some of these AI technologies will also aid in that. Instead of kind of, if you look at only, again, everything has both sides. So while one side we're saying, okay, can information be crawled from various places? Will I be able to, like, Mahesh's example, would you be able to, see my eating patterns, food patterns, and then can you combine?
Exactly. As a customer, I may get angry. Yeah. That why is it that my bank knows my habits, or my insurance
But
company.
I could deploy an AI application which precisely ensures that there is a consent framework in the journey that's coming up and asking every time
is it already coming?
It can be built. I mean, it's very easily you can build it. You will see this getting built up because, for example, why would you kind of try and let's say crawl data? And not kind of ask customers if it's all automated, because then you don't need to kind of go back to people and create those kind of structures for that. So I think it's privacy is at the center, but I think the bigger challenge to my mind is the security angle.
Correct.
Okay, because I think while that 25 million got siphoned off of the Hong Kong bank last week, it's unbelievable because it was a normal senior management meeting. Which is one person was real and everybody else was deep fake. So it's
unbelievable,
right?
that.
Yeah. So I think
that there could be so many fake. I would have thought that there would be more real and one fake. This was the other way around.
So two things driving this. One is the Gen AI deep fake is here and real because it's not going to be an easy problem to solve for Lata, because look at it, you believe in voices, you believe in pictures, you believe in motion, videos, and suddenly those are getting questioned. A lot of our authentication, video KYC and all, we have to really rethink, right, from a banking perspective. Suddenly you are throwing a very different angle.
Yes.
Right? I mean, you might, how do you know, because, right?
How do I trust?
So I think that is one big thing.
In election season, it is really scary.
It is very scary, and in fact, it's already happening, right? I mean, we've seen elections, leaders kind of coming on generated AI, and you'll see a lot of other things, campaigns and stuff like that. But coming back to the banking industry, video KYC is a foundational aspect, right? It could get very big time kind of, question because of this technology.
Because the branch will be useful in, if you want to go and check whether this is fake or not.
Yeah, for all that, that's what we'll come to.
As long as the branch is not fake.
Yeah. So the second aspect is the classical security side, because one other thing that's happening is the algorithms are getting better, and the quantum compute is also lurking in the corner. And what that will do is it will open up a very different set of issues from a security perspective. Keys can be broken, hacks can be so. I think it's.
You're scaring me now.
No, I'm not scaring, but I think and
Yeah,
by the way,
that's reality.
It's happening.
It's happening already.
But then there is also this thing, and it's very interesting that there is also a set of research, set of people who are involved, what they call as AI for AI. So if humans can't stop machines from faking, machines will stop machines. Okay. So I think this will play out. It's very fascinating. Like everything else, I think there are pitfalls like security, privacy, deep fakes. All of them are real challenges. But I think, like I said, human brain and human evolution always kind of comes up. And today also we have bad and good and bad guys. But there are checks and balances that technology brings in. People's thought processes, values come through. So I think this will play out.
I have 2 points. One serious one the lighter one. On the serious side, I would say that at least banking in India is very, very responsible with the data already. It's one of the few industries which are very responsible with the data. So
I've hardly heard of any banking leaks.
Banking greed, I would say banking greed with the data is not happening. If at all data is used within the bank, it's never going out of the bank. So that way, I think
at least we are starting on a sound
within the industry, within various industries in the country, for the DPDP, banking would be the one closest which can, I would say, would be compliant to start with per se, because it's already responsible. It can be a little bit edges can be broken. On the lighter vein, on the point you talked about, you talk personalized, whether you have, you will also know whether you like that message or not, and you will not show it to you if you don't like.
Also adding to this, Latha is also going to be the fact that when you look at today our digital public infrastructure, probably there is a lot of data residing there, lots, and that's only expanding. What we started with Aadhaar to today, if you look at it, today account aggregator framework is significantly changing the way you are essentially using a digital, and that consent framework, to what Ramesh was saying, is only going to get more stronger and more pervasive into the process.
Yes.
That's going to happen, and that's going to allow for a lot of protection and data enablement at the hands of the owner of the data. At the end of the day, it's only residing somewhere, but how do you do it? Like for example, DigiLocker or a Digi Yatra. We all use these Digis very well because it's very helpful.
Yes.
But how do you, if at all that's going to be used, the consent framework will be essentially be put in. It's not a challenge, but essentially that will essentially need to come in place to be able to allow you to enable better usage. No, I think classic case is going to be PAN. The struggle we all go through, all of us, is that now the way the PAN data was earlier being given to us is going to change the next 20 days significantly. Yeah, because, and truthfully, I would say rightfully so, saying that no, we are not going to give you the data, you define the data, we will give you yes or no. And I think it's a step in the right direction. But it means that how banks think about it, how financial institutions, not just financial, everyone thinks of the usage of data and the way we have to look at this whole challenge to make it much more at the hands of the customer to or the citizen has to come. It will change, because right now that's going to make a big shift. Now it's going to have its own problem statement like we had in the early days. PAN card or SMS was handed over to someone and say, boss, you take my this thing, and there were frauds coming in. That is going to evolve itself, but there are also going to be mitigations to that.
Yeah.
So,
but one subtle point what you mentioned that already for most of the people who are bankable in the country, their data is available everywhere.
Yes.
My data is available wherever, I don't know, you can think of, it's available all everywhere, all across. Yeah. So beyond the point, per se certain data which we think are very, this one is already there. There's
No, that's true.
So that way,
RBI makes it very incumbent on banks that you should immediately delete the person's PAN number or delete the person's card number. As soon as you get it,
that's not the way shops behave.
Exactly. They liberally take our Aadhaar card Xerox. Oh my God! So many hotels during COVID, restaurants used to make us write our mobile number. You can't enter the building unless you write, which you don't know.
In fact, the most obvious one is, when you go to shop, I mean, people ask your mobile number as if it's some,
Exactly.
You can,
and I get मैं नहीं दूंगी, and then आपको ही point नहीं मिलेगा.
Yeah, exactly. And then you start giving some other.
You can punish only a obedient boy. A naughty boy anyway is not going to listen to the punishment.
good.
I think it's going to be
now
good. It's
the
going to be
big challenge. I'm surprised none of you all said that. You all spoke about privacy, you all spoke about compliance, regulatory. Investment, financial investment. Rishi, do your clients say, my God, I just spent so much money on upgrading this and now I've got to rewrite the whole thing, and the financial implications a big challenge.
So I just spoke about the multiplier effect, right? I think, it's all about ROI, right? When we are doing these use cases and when we are scaling these AI, right? These AI programs, there is obviously, you define the success factors or the success matrix, as we call it. What is the outcome which is actually going to be
which will legitimize the investment
delivered, right? And scaling it. One, two use cases. I already spoke about moving beyond pilots, right? But moving across organizations, scaling it, right?
Scaling it.
Obviously, the ROIs will define that. How will you keep scaling AI, right? So, we define the success factors, we define success metrics before embarking on any such programs. And most important is, how do we keep measuring that? How do we keep showing the benefits back to business? Because that's how you can just keep moving forward.
Just to come in there, I think also, the AI investments and the machine learning based investments, I think India might need a different model. That's my personal view. Because if you're just going to put classical way of putting costs and kind of saying, okay, bring in GPUs, bring in all kinds of model validation tools and all kind of orchestration tools, in the immediate run, I think it will be difficult for anybody to justify the costs. Okay, I'll be honest with you. But the flip side to it, if you are going to get use cases which are going to be driven by economies of scale, where the real scale comes as a very, very, let's say, driving factor, I think we will probably have a far better model. So, most of the use cases have to be linked to something that's very transformational at scale, kind of, which is what we have succeeded. If you see our UPI journey and some of the other digital journeys that we've seen the success, telecom, pricing. I think I similarly see that the adoption of the AI will actually be very different financial model in India compared to some of the Western countries. I do very strongly believe in that.
And we embark. Before you embark on a big program, today we are doing many just to get started and just to have a view on how it is performed. We are doing many pilots or proof of concepts as with our clients, just to see what is working, what is not working before you start embarking on larger programs. And many such proof of concepts are happening today on our platform.
And also, I think There are a lot of Indian experiments. I think that's other thing that we not covered in this. So there is a Bharat GPT initiative going on. There's a Bharat Cloud initiative that's coming up. I think also as India kind of starts getting into chip designs and infrastructure creation, I think it's very great opportunity for us also to seize this moment and be the leaders in the AI space with a different context. I think there's a great opportunity.
Oh, absolutely. I don't think big data can be better defined than in India. I mean, data doesn't get bigger,
That's right.
except in the Indian case. Balaji, Ramesh, Mahesh, and Rishi, thank you very much for an enriching conversation. You leave me a little optimistic. Like you point out, there will be problems thrown up by AI, but the way it is evolving, AI itself will solve those problems. And I think the greatest confidence I'm going back with is that there won't be job losses. Actually, AI is also creating the best tools for reskilling and upskilling the jobs that it may render redundant. Thank you very much for an enriching and an optimistic conversation. I'm very confident that AI is going to make our lives better. It's not scary at all. Thank you very much for watching this very interesting conversation.
CNBC-TV18 presents the AI Dialogues in association with IBM.